I can still picture the moment everything shifted, though it didn't feel dramatic at the time. It was quiet, almost ordinary, and it began with something that wasn't meant to be taken seriously. Her name was Lily, and she had been part of my life for nearly 7 years. We met during our university days after both of us reached for the same takeaway coffee at a small campus cafe. She laughed, stepped back, and said I could have it, as long as I bought her the next one. That simple exchange somehow turned into years of friendship. From then on, we were always together. Late-night study marathons, spontaneous weekend drives, venting about work, patching each other up after failed relationships. She was constant in my life. People often assumed we were dating, but we always brushed it off. At least I did. She dated a few people over time. So did I. But no matter what, we always found our way back to the same corner booth at our favorite diner every Friday night, talking like nothing else in the world mattered. One evening, after a draining week, we sat out on her balcony, watching the city glow beneath us. She let out a long sigh and tossed her phone aside. "Why is dating so tiring?" she groaned. "Honestly, I should just marry my best friend at this point." I chuckled, lifting my cup. Not a bad idea. She rolled her eyes at me like she always did. But then things went quiet for a moment. Without really thinking, I leaned back and said, half smiling, "All right then. Marry me." I expected her to laugh it off or tease me. That's how it always went between us. But she didn't laugh. She went still. For the first time in years, she looked unsure, almost vulnerable. Her eyes dropped to her hands, and when she spoke, her voice was soft. "I thought you'd never say that." At first, I thought she was joking back. But when she looked up again, her eyes were glossy, and I realized she wasn't. My smile faded. "Wait, you're serious?" She nodded slowly. "I've been serious for a long time." My chest tightened. "You mean?" She gave a small, shaky laugh and wiped at her eyes. "I've loved you for years, you idiot." It hit me all at once. Every late-night conversation, every shared silence, every time someone asked if we were together, it suddenly made sense in a way it never had before. "You never told me," I said quietly. She shrugged, trying to play it off. "You didn't either." Then she looked at me carefully. "So, I figured maybe you didn't feel that way." I sat there, stunned, not because I didn't understand her feelings, but because I finally understood mine. Every relationship I'd been in had felt temporary, like something was missing. And now I knew why. No matter who I was with, Lily was always the first person I wanted to talk to. Every good moment, every bad day, she was already the one I shared everything with. I let out a soft laugh. "You know what's crazy?" "What?" she asked gently. I didn't mean that seriously. She smiled, like she already knew. I figured. Then she tilted her head slightly. "But does it have to stay that way?" Something in the air shifted. It felt different, real, heavier, but in a good way. I looked at her, really looked at her. Not just as the friend who had always been there, but as someone who had quietly become everything to me. I reached across the table and took her hand. "All right," I said, smiling. "Let me try that again." She raised an eyebrow, curious. I took a breath, this time with no hesitation. "Lily, will you marry me?" This time, I meant every word. And the way she smiled told me everything I needed to know.